What's good, fam? The OVO stimulus package has officially run out of funds, and the industry is finally ready to admit that the boy is no longer the king. We are witnessing the absolute collapse of an empire in real time. The numbers finally confirm what Kendrick Lamar told us all along about the crown being way too heavy for a man who cannot stand alone. On March the 22nd, 2026, the industry insider Wack 100 dropped a nuclear bomb on the rollout for the 9th Drake studio album called Iceman. His predictions are sitting so low that they are currently sending shockwaves through the entire rap community. Wack 100 claims this new project will only move between 175,000 and 250,000 units during the first week, which represents a total disaster for a former streaming god. Wack 100 compared these weak numbers to the collab tape Drake dropped with Party Next Door back in 2025. That side project hit 246,000 units without even trying that hard. The fact that a solo studio album is projected to do less than a side project means the solo power is officially gone. People are finally starting to see through the smoke and mirrors because the reality is catching up to the hype. Wack 100 mentioned that even with a massive hit single, the absolute ceiling for this album is 350,000 units. That might sound decent for a normal artist, but it is a massive drop when you look at the historical benchmarks Drake set for himself. Back in 2021, he moved 613,000 units with Certified Lover Boy in a single week. These new projections show a potential 70% decline in his commercial dominance. Adam 22 tried to defend the OVO brand by predicting 400,000 units for Iceman, but Wack 100 doubled down on his stance. The industry is actively shifting away from that tired OVO sound, and the casual listeners are just not checking for him anymore. This situation proves the invincibility is gone, while the Kendrick effect takes a heavy toll on the bank account and the legacy. Wack 100 stated that Drake lost a little battle with Kendrick back in 2024, and he never recovered his aura. That lyrical dismantling changed how the public views him as an artist, and now the machine is no longer prioritizing these releases. Kendrick Lamar set a brand new standard for excellence when he dropped GNX and moved 319,000 units. The fact that Drake is struggling to reach that bar is pure comedy to anyone who has been paying attention. Kendrick took him apart line by line and showed everyone that there was nothing behind the curtain. Industry sentiment is shifting fast because people realize Drake is no longer a safe bet for record-breaking numbers. The Not Like Us era changed how the entire rap game operates for good, and that shift is hurting the boys' bottom line. Casual fans who used to press play on any Drake feature are now moving on to artists who actually have something to say. Wack 100 believes the Kendrick battle was the turning point where fans stopped being afraid to admit the music was getting stale. It is one thing to lose a rap battle, but it is another thing entirely to lose your grip on the charts. Kendrick did not just win a beef, he effectively deleted the prestige that came with being a Drake fan. The industry is no longer obligated to bow down to the OVO machine because the king is currently naked. This is what happens when you build a legacy on hype and streaming tricks instead of actual substance. Kendrick Lamar forced the world to look at the truth. Wack 100 is just a messenger saying the era of Drake being the undisputed #1 is over for good. We are looking at a future where the boy has to actually compete on a level playing field without the massive head start he used to get from the label. Based on these March 2026 projections, it looks like that head start is gone. Kendrick Lamar is currently holding the throne while Drake is left scrambling to move 200,000 units to a fan base that has basically checked out. Breaking down the sales numbers was only the beginning for Wack 100, who pulled the curtain back on the streaming game at Universal Music Group. According to these claims, the heavy politics between the boy and his parent label are finally reaching a breaking point, and that means the digital bots padding his stats are getting cut off. People have been whispering about the OVO camp using fake engagement to stay on top of the Spotify charts for years, but the machine is officially finished with those games. Projections show that losing those artificial boosts could strip at least 25% of his first week sales right off the top, which proves his status was never as solid as it looked. Universal is dealing with a public disaster, especially since Drake filed that massive 117-page legal appeal against his own label over Kendrick's streaming success. Descriptions of that lawsuit from Wack 100 frame it as pure jealousy, and it looks like a massive case of self-sabotage because no label is going to support a rapper who is actively suing them. It is obvious why the Iceman rollout is getting way less promotional energy and machine backing than any other project he has ever dropped in his entire career. That explains why playlist dominance is officially over for him, and that is exactly why the sales floor is falling out from under the boy. Playlist energy is shifting elsewhere, and those Spotify crowns he used to flex were essentially built on a pile of fake numbers that the label is now deleting from the system as we speak. Seeing his numbers exposed as something the label paid for is a terrible look for someone who made his whole brand about being the biggest artist on the planet. Now that the label is pulling back on the bots and the playlisting, we are finally getting a look at his actual organic reach, and the insiders are saying it is not impressive at all. This situation makes it obvious that the higher-ups have found a new favorite in Kendrick Lamar, and they are done manipulating the charts just to keep Drake in the conversation. When the industry machine stops backing you and the streets lose respect at the same time, you have absolutely nowhere left to go, and that is why these Iceman projections are looking so weak. Power in the industry has clearly shifted according to Wack 100, leaving the boy out in the cold without his usual digital protection to hide behind. Watching a label stop shielding a liability artist is exactly what happens when the Kendrick beef exposes all the weaknesses. The crown is being stripped away piece by piece, and the world is finally seeing the gap between a natural king like Kendrick and a manufactured star who needs a server farm to stay relevant on the charts. Before we see how this Iceman rebrand is already fumbling through these desperate kick streams, tell me what y'all think. Is the boy officially cooked now that the industry pulled his digital protection? Tell me in the comments. No cap. While you at it, like and subscribe. Let's get back to the breakdown. You can see the desperation growing when you watch how this Iceman rebrand is stumbling across social media and the streaming apps. Drake is leaning on these Marathon Kick live streams to force a narrative because he does not have a massive hit record for people to actually discuss. Creating a storyline out of thin air looks like a desperate move because his music is not carrying the weight, and that leaves his hype at an all-time low. Rumors are flying that the album drops on April 17, 2026, based on that 1+416 area code teaser he posted. But nobody cares like they used to. Snippets for tracks like What Did I Miss in Doghouse featuring Yate have surfaced, but they are not sparking the viral momentum that once made a Drake drop feel special. The core hip-hop fans over on Reddit are siding with those low sales estimates from Wack 100 because everyone is feeling the fatigue after that Kendrick battle. People see this Iceman persona as a massive coat for the reality that Kendrick Lamar has taken the top spot and redefined what dominance looks like in rap. He is out here trying to act cold and calculated, but he looks like a man struggling to stay relevant while the world moves past his petty drama. That Yate feature was meant to grab the youth audience, but it feels like Drake is just leeching off a younger artist because his own creative well is dry. Streets are not moving for this project like they did for Her Loss or for All the Dogs, especially since the Kendrick fallout stained the OVO brand. Fans are tired of the same formula involving subliminal disses and Instagram captions, and they want something with more substance and heart. Kendrick Lamar proved you can be the biggest artist on the planet while remaining a lyrical monster, and that makes the pop rap hybrid style Drake uses look dated and shallow. This Iceman pivot is an attempt to move past the embarrassment of 2024, but a new coat will not make people forget you were dismantled globally. Hip-hop fans are savvy enough to see through the marketing, and they know the king was dethroned, no matter how many kick streams he does or teasers he posts. First week data will likely reflect that reality once the numbers actually hit the wire. Wack 100 is just saying what the industry is thinking, and the truth is, the boy lost his grip while the crown moved to the man from Compton. We are witnessing a massive power shift that nobody saw coming back when Drake controlled the entire music industry with an absolute grip. Just having a conversation about a solo Drake project moving fewer than 200,000 copies proves how much ground he has lost since the peak of the certified lover boy era. Kendrick Lamar managed to do a lot more than just win a rap battle because he shattered the image Drake projected to the world and revealed every single flaw in how OVO operates. When you strip away the fake streaming numbers, the industry favors, and the fake aura of being untouchable, you see an artist who cannot figure out how to survive in this new climate. This upcoming Iceman release could be the final attempt for Drake to stay relevant at the top before he officially becomes a legacy artist who only survives on his old hits. That Spotify crown was never going to stay on his head once the fans decided they wanted a leader with actual skill and real integrity at the front of the culture. Wack 100 is calling this early because he can see exactly where this is heading, and he knows the industry machine wants to find a loophole in that OVO contract. Before we check out how the rest of the game is reacting to these weak sales projections, I want to hear your thoughts on the boy's situation. Tell me if you think Wack 100 is being way too aggressive with these low numbers, or if Drake is actually done as a major commercial force. Drop a comment and tell me no cap if you think that Iceman project has any real chance of saving his reputation after everything that happened. While you are down there, hit the like and subscribe buttons so you stay in the loop on every single move Kendrick makes to keep the pressure on his neck. We will be watching these sales numbers closely as the release date gets near, because this fallout is only getting started and the final results will be legendary. Things are looking freezing for the Iceman right now, and it is only going to get colder as more of the truth starts coming to light.